is bottled water so popular? The US is the second largest bottled water market in the world, right after China. And bottled water sales are expected to overtake soda as the #1 packaged beverage in the US by next year. Companies like Nestle and Coca-Cola are betting big on the future of bottled water. They've spent fortunes on advertising to convince us that bottled water is the drink of choice for the sophisticated and the health conscious.
Keep your body at its peak. Drink Evian.
But is bottled water better than tap? Let's start by looking at the quality. What comes out of your tap depends on where you live in the world. In the US, a test comparing tap water across the country to 103 different types of bottled water concluded that there's no assurance that bottled water is any safer than tap water. Tap water in the US is regulated by the EPA, which has stricter reporting standards than the FDA, which regulates bottled water. So, despite what those commercials imply, what comes out of your tap might be higher quality than bottled water. And get this, half of all bottled water comes from your tap. But this doesn't seem to have much impact on bottled water sales. New York City, for example, has some of the cleanest tap water in the country, but the bottled water market there is huge. It's expanding year after year, with Nestle's Poland Spring outselling all other beverage brands. Bottled water costs more too, a lot more. Americans are paying an average of $1.22 per gallon for it. That's about 300 times the cost of tap water. That makes bottled water on average more expensive than oil. But why? Well, beyond the price of the water itself and the bottle it comes in, there's the cost of transporting it, the extra water used to make that bottle, and finally, you're paying for the cost of all those ads and sponsorship deals. And don't forget about the effect on the environment. Less than a third of these plastic bottles will be recycled in the United States. Most end up in landfills or floating in our oceans. And all that water has to come from somewhere. Our groundwater is being overused so that this water can be bottled and sold. The oil used to produce and transport bottled water means huge amounts of CO2 are being pumped into the atmosphere. So we could all do the earth a favor by carrying around a reusable bottle and filling it up at the tap. So think about it. If the bottled water industry really wanted to keep it real, those commercials would probably look more like this.
The refreshing taste of bottled water. It's bad for you. It's bad for me. It's bad for almost everybody.